Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into a topic that's deeply complex and often misunderstood: nationalism. While nationalism can be a force for unity and pride, it also carries within it the seeds of division, violence, and even authoritarianism. History is littered with examples of how unchecked nationalism can warp societies, pitting people against each other and undermining the very values that make us human. Let's get started. Let's start by addressing the concept of us versus them, a mindset that has been deeply ingrained in human societies for centuries. Nationalism often hinges on drawing distinctions between those who belong to the nation and those who are perceived as outsiders, creating an artificial divide. This emphasis on a singular national identity can easily slide into exclusionary ideologies, where the focus shifts from unity to division. Suddenly it's about who's in and who's out, who's deemed worthy of belonging, and who's considered a threat to the societal fabric. Those deemed outsiders become easy scapegoats for societal problems, facing prejudice, discrimination, and even violence, often without any justification. Think about the demonization of immigrants or the rise of ethnic nationalism, both of which thrive on fear and misinformation. The Holocaust stands as a chilling testament to the dangers of this kind of exclusionary thinking, showing the extreme consequences of unchecked hatred. Look around the world today and you'll see similar patterns emerging, echoing the dark chapters of history. Anti-immigrant sentiment fueled by nationalist rhetoric continues to grow, creating an atmosphere of hostility. The rise of ethno-nationalist political parties further exacerbates these divisions, promoting an agenda of exclusion. The targeting of religious minorities based on their supposed foreignness is another manifestation of this dangerous ideology. We need to challenge narratives that pit us against them, and instead focus on building bridges of understanding and empathy, fostering a sense of global community. Because a nation divided against itself cannot stand, and a world divided against itself cannot hope to thrive. Unity and inclusivity are the keys to a prosperous future. Nationalism, especially when left unchecked, has a way of eroding democratic values. It can start subtly, with small shifts in rhetoric and policy that seem harmless at first. Democracy thrives on critical thinking, open debate, and holding leaders accountable. These are the cornerstones that ensure a government truly represents its people. But nationalism can create a climate where dissent is seen as treason and questioning authority is tantamount to betrayal. This stifles the very essence of democratic engagement. Leaders often exploit patriotic sentiments to consolidate their control, silencing opposition and limiting individual freedoms. They use nationalism as a shield against criticism. Nationalism can also erode democratic norms in more subtle ways, like fueling political polarization. This division weakens the fabric of society, making it harder to find common ground. It's often difficult to recognize these erosions of democracy as they're happening because they're framed in the language of patriotism. This makes it challenging to push back against them. True patriotism isn't about blind obedience or unquestioning loyalty. It's about active participation and vigilance. It's about holding our nations accountable to their highest ideals. This means constantly striving for improvement and justice. It's about recognizing that a nation is only as strong as its commitment to values like liberty, equality, and justice for all. These principles are the true measure of a nation's greatness. So, the next time you hear someone invoking nationalism, consider what they're really saying. Are they fostering unity or sowing division? Are they promoting unity and shared values? Or are they using it as a tool to silence dissent and consolidate power? The distinction is crucial for the health of any democracy. Let's talk about the link between nationalism and militarism. Nationalism often goes hand in hand with the glorification of the military. It's about projecting power, asserting dominance, and defending the nation's honor, even if that means resorting to violence. When a nation starts to define itself through its military might, it becomes easy to slip into a cycle of conflict and aggression. Think about the lead-up to World War I. fueled by rampant nationalism and a sense of national rivalry. Millions died in the name of national honor and territorial gains. Nationalist sentiments can also fuel internal conflicts, igniting civil wars and leading to widespread violence. We need to stop glorifying war and start teaching about the true cost of violence. True security comes from cooperation, mutual respect, and addressing the root causes of conflict. If we want to create a more peaceful world, we need to reject militarism and embrace peace. Let's talk about historical revisionism. Nationalists love a narrative that glorifies their nation, emphasizing triumphs and minimizing failures. They engage in historical revisionism, downplaying or erasing uncomfortable truths like colonialism, slavery, and genocide. This distortion of history can have dangerous consequences. When we deny or downplay the injustices of the past, we become more likely to repeat them. Historical revisionism fuels social tensions and creates a climate of distrust. We need to embrace a nuanced understanding of history, acknowledging both triumphs and failures. We need to support historians and educators committed to uncovering the truth. We need to be critical consumers of information, questioning narratives that seem too neat or simplistic. The past shapes who we are and the choices we make today. To build a better future, we need to confront the past honestly. Let's talk about the dangerous cocktail of nationalism and populism. Nationalist populist leaders often rise to power by exploiting people's fears and anxieties. They paint a picture of a nation under threat and promise simple solutions to complex problems. They create a climate of fear, division, and distrust where critical thinking goes out the window. Leaders who present themselves as the only ones who can save the nation often erode democratic norms and attack the free press. Once in power, they're difficult to remove, controlling the levers of government and having a devoted base of supporters. We need to be aware of the tactics these leaders use and be critical of their rhetoric. We need to support a free and independent press and promote media literacy. Democracy requires our constant attention and active participation. If we allow fear and division to take root, we risk losing it altogether. We must guard against the dangers of nationalist populism. Let's address the darkest chapter of nationalism, ethnic nationalism and genocide. Ethnic nationalism is the belief that a nation should be defined by a single ethnicity, leading to exclusion and violence. The Holocaust stands as a chilling testament to the horrors of ethnic nationalism. From the Armenian genocide to the Rwandan genocide, history is replete with examples of ethnic nationalism leading to genocide. We continue to see ethnic violence and persecution in the 21st century. Ethnic nationalism is not patriotism, it's racism. We need to challenge hateful rhetoric and promote tolerance and understanding. We need to teach our children about the dangers of prejudice and the importance of embracing diversity. We need to remember the victims of ethnic violence and honor their memory. To prevent such horrors, we must learn from history and stand up against hate. Let's discuss nationalism's ability to undermine global cooperation and why it's crucial to look beyond our borders. We live in a world facing complex, interconnected challenges like climate change, pandemics, and global inequality. These issues don't respect national boundaries. These problems require global cooperation and collaboration, where nations work together for the common good. Nationalism, with its emphasis on national sovereignty, can make it difficult to address these shared challenges effectively. It can lead to isolationism and protectionism, which hinder progress and mutual aid. Think about climate change, a global problem requiring a global solution. No single country can tackle it alone. Nationalist leaders often downplay the urgency of the crisis and withdraw from international agreements, stalling collective action. The COVID-19 pandemic showed us the need for international collaboration and the dangers of going it alone. Despite this, we saw nations hoarding vaccines and spreading misinformation, which only prolonged the crisis. The challenges we face are too big to be solved by retreating into national shells or building walls. We need to cultivate a sense of global citizenship and shared responsibility, recognizing that we are all in this together. We need to support international institutions and promote dialogue and cooperation to find lasting solutions. We need to address the root causes of nationalism like inequality and insecurity to build a more just world. We can't solve global problems with a nationalistic mindset. It only creates more division. We need a more inclusive global perspective to create a future where everyone can thrive, regardless of nationality. Outro, choosing our path forward. We've explored the dark side of nationalism, from exclusion and erosion of democracy to militarism, genocide, and undermining global cooperation. Nationalism is a powerful force that can be used for both good and evil. The choice is ours. We can embrace the inclusive aspects of nationalism or succumb to its darker impulses. Thanks for watching. If you found this video informative, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Let us know in the comments what you think about the rise of nationalism and its impact on our world today.